Alright, so I originally was gonna do a bunch of cars in one video, but I realized that video would be close to an hour long with how much detail I get into it. So I just decided I'm gonna split it into different parts. Now that we're doing each video car by car, and yes, I am planning to make this a series, it allows me to go into more detail about every single car, which I'm actually really excited about because I love doing dumb stuff like this. So yeah, I'm gonna teach you guys how to make ACCELERACERS cars in the cheapest way possible. Bear in mind, these aren't gonna look exactly like the cars in the movie, because let's face it, without a giant body kit and all that kind of stuff that'll cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, that's not a very feasible goal for a lot of people, because you also have to make sure the body kit fits the chassis you picked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick modern cars and then try to build off of those, if you catch my meaning. They're not gonna look exactly, but you know, I'm gonna try to make them as close as I can with the best base cars to start. Also, this is very much my opinion, so if you want to follow part of the build and then kind of do your own thing, then go ahead, by all means. If you think another way works better, leave it down in the comments below. This week we're gonna be doing Nolo Pizarro's Synkro, which is actually one of my favorite cars, and actually looks a lot like a certain car in real life that I'm sure you guys all already know. So buckle in and enjoy the show. Alright, so before we begin, I want to cover something real quick. I've officially begun a small, very small, partnership with Amazon through the Amazon Associates program. Basically, it works like this. At the bottom of each description, I'll add a link to a product that has something to do with the video. When you click that link, it'll take you to the Amazon product. Now, you don't necessarily have to buy that product per se, but if you buy something while on the same Amazon tab within 24 hours of opening that tab, I'll get a small commission. You can literally buy anything, be it school books, cars, a lasso, literally anything. It does not matter to me. So yeah, there we go. I'm begging you for money now. To celebrate the fact that we're doing Hot Wheels, I've actually linked a universal nitrous kit down below. Now this is a starter pack. It's got pretty good reviews. If you want to learn how to use nitrous properly, watch the video up here, so I can give you exact instructions on how to do it. Just be safe with nitrous if you guys decide to get it. I'll also try and list a carburetor version as well as my camera and microphone.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
Please give me money, ooh. God, what am I doing? All right, now that I'm done begging you for cash, let's get into the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. All right, so based on the vote earlier this week, it's obvious that you guys want to hear about the Synkro. And even though I was hoping for Power Rage, this is one of my favorite cars in ACCELERACERS, so I'm still really excited to do it. It's sleek, it's fast, it's got an exposed turbo, and it was definitely ripped off by Nissan. I mean, honestly, it's actually uncanny how alike they look. It's like they told a lazy intern to design a car or else you'd get kicked out of the program, so he waited until the last minute, made a panic drawing of his favorite Hot Wheel, and the head of Nissan said, "Hey, bro, that's pretty sick, let's make it," and walked away to go snort some powder. To be honest, the only difference between the two is the turbo sticking out of the hood and the super gaudy wing on the back. It even comes with a stock orange paint job. Even the interior looks really similar to Nolo's, if you get the orange version of it, which makes it the best start for a Synkro build. However, I know I said it would be affordable, and let's face it, a Nissan GTR is not cheap. The cheapest I could find was the 2009 version that was still 47 grand, which, that's a retirement vehicle. However, don't worry, I have you guys covered in a cheaper way. It doesn't look as close to the GTR, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks good,
in my opinion. However, right now I think we're gonna focus on the GTR, then we'll hit the other car later. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna focus on the body. Hashtag not a pervert. For the Nissan GTR, the body mods are going to be minimal. You're gonna need a turbo, a wing, a paint job, and some underglow, as well as some tinted windows. Alright, so the Nissan GTR has a powerful 3.8 liter V6 engine, making roughly 480 horsepower. Now, since I'm sure some of you guys are looking to have a car that just looks like Synkro and maybe doesn't perform like it, the cheapest universal turbo kit I could find was roughly $600. Now, personally, I wouldn't go this route because said turbo is made in China. Don't get me wrong, but the Chinese have a lot of good car parts, but who am I kidding? They suck at car parts. Basically, the turbocharger could be shooting out disease at 9,000 RPM, turning it into a biological weapon more than a car. But you know what? It looks cool, so who cares? I'm gonna get us all killed. Thanks, China. But in all seriousness, the turbo would probably break eventually. So that said, a better turbo is going to cost you around $2,000. So it's up to you. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, just cut a hole in the hood and change the turbo piping so it sticks out. Remember kids, measure twice, cut once. That's how you avoid screwing up. Next up would be the rear wing. Now, the one I found wasn't the cheapest, but it was the closest one to how big the Synkro's was. It's a Duraflex GT500 V3 and it's on sale for roughly $600. I know it's expensive, but let's face it, if you're customizing a GTR, then I'm not really sure why you'd be worried about money. Next up would be a window tint. This is pretty easy because most cities have a window tint store. Even where I'm from has a really good window tinting store that everyone uses, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. And they're generally pretty cheap, roughly $300. You may not be able to tint your windshield depending on where you're from, but as long as it's a light blue, I think it would work. Then would be the underglow. I'm pretty sure you could cheap out on this because, you know, it's just underglow. Depending on the quality, this will cost you anywhere in between $30 and $150. So for the sake of my brain that's still burning after an accounting midterm, we'll just say $70 because that's kind of in the middle. You're also going to need some 20-inch 6 spokes to go with your car. Now this is obviously up to you. Looking into rims that look just like the ACCELERACERS rims for a GTR is kind of harrowing. And rims can cost anything depending on how much quality you want. You can get the look for pretty cheap, but there's a chance it could break, as well as, you know, if you want a high-performing car that performs like the Synkro, you're going to want best quality stuff. I'd say that when buying some brand new rims and tires, you can expect to spend around $1,400 for some stuff that will actually last you. Also, you can look for blue tires. I know they make some, but I couldn't find any on Google. But remember, tires are black for a reason. Helps with cooling the wheel systems and all that jazz and a few other things I don't remember. Also, you can spray paint your tires. Don't spray paint your tires. And last but not least is the paint job. Honestly, this will probably be the cheapest paint job that I talk about in this series because it's already a perfect orange color. You just have to pay for custom decals. So I'm gonna say roughly $1,200, including all the labor it takes to put it on. So in order to have an almost perfect replica of Synkro, the whole build is going to cost roughly $47,170. Jeez, talk about a retirement car. That's not even including interior and stuff, although it already looks pretty close and has a pretty good sound system. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Now let's go with the dirt cheap option, a Scion FRS. Now, I know what you're thinking. That car doesn't look anything like the Synkro, but hear me out. Body kits are a thing. You're not going to get any car that looks exactly like the Synkro, so you really just have to pick one that has a good base to build off of. Now, this isn't going to exactly look like it, but you know, it's a good starting point, you know. The body seems to work, all that jazz seems to work. If you want to go out of your way and make some new headlights and new tail lights and stuff, be my guest, but I'm trying to make it the cheapest way possible. Now, depending on where you get it, a Scion FRS can be pretty cheap or pretty expensive. The lowest I found on Carfax was about $8,000, so all in all, it's a pretty good starting point. And yes, you could also use a Subaru BRZ, but those tend to be roughly $2,000 more, which you could easily spend on mods. Also, one thing I found out is these cars share so many parts together that a lot of the body kits are interchangeable in between them. So if you already have a Subaru, then feel free to double check the body kit parts because I'm pretty sure they work. Now, the biggest spend here is going to be said body kit. Now, I know this is a lot of money, but it's easily the most important part of the build. Alright, so the body kit I'd recommend would be the Pandem V3 Aero Kit. Now, there are other kits that look like the Synkro too, but this was my personal favorite. Minus those ugly fins on the back. Just leave those off or grind them off. Just... They're meant for function, not looks. They really make me want to barf. I can't stop staring at them. The Pandem V3 kit will cost you roughly $4,000, including shipping and tax. I wouldn't recommend the kit with the rear wing, however, as, you know, the rear wing is going to add another almost $2,000, and I just don't think it's that necessary. It doesn't look like the Synkro wing to me, so just skip over that and save yourself $2,000. Instead, I would opt for a basic universal GT wing. You know, you can find these anywhere in between the cost of $60 to $300. You can go with the Duraflex, like I said before, but if we're doing it with the budget cost, we're going to drop that down a little bit. Now, I would not recommend getting a $60 wing, but you can. It's just be prepared because what you pay is what you get. If you get a $60 car wing, there's a good chance it'll break. I'd say the minimum you should pay is roughly $150 to $200. Now, you just need to add the same stuff as you did with the GTR, such as the paint job, the underglow, the wheels, the window tint, and the turbo kit. Now, all of this together for the body is going to be roughly $15,270. Alright, so That's a lot more affordable than 47 grand. But you know what? I gotta make a longer video because if I want to get monetized by YouTube and not just Amazon, then I gotta do stuff. So let's make this video longer, huh? I think we can go deeper. I know some of you ACCELERACERS fanboys want more. I know that you guys want a car that is exactly like Nolo's, that you want that interior, you want those speakers, you want that engine. Down the rabbit hole we go. Well, if you feel like going broke, or you just aren't in a relationship or have kids or anything, then feel free to follow this guide, because this is gonna be fun. Let's start with that inside. Now, we don't see much of Nolo's interior, minus the console, the shifter, and the giant speaker between him and the passenger seat. Well, for starters, you're gonna have to buy yourself some orange interior wrap, and a lot of it. There's a lot of gray parts. I would recommend covering up the orange interior wrap. This won't be exactly like what Nolo has, but other than completely making your own custom interior, it's the closest we're gonna get. This amount of vinyl wrap, as well as the labor to do it, will probably cost you roughly $300 at most, depending on where you go. Of course, that number goes way down if you do it yourself, but good luck. Vinyl wrapping is a lot harder than it looks. I mean, hey, if you know how to tape and you know how to paint, then by all means, go ahead. Just know there's no going back. The next big thing would be to have that steering wheel. Personally, I think the universal 6-bolt orange steering wheel would be a good fit. No, I'm serious. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Now, I'm unsure if a golf cart wheel will work on it, but I'm sure you can pay a shop to either force it in or put in an adapter for you. This will put you down roughly $80. And it looks pretty close to Nolo's steering wheel, minus all the buttons, which of course you can add. Now, you need to look at your interior in your Scion FRS. What is missing that every Teku driver needs? You need a giant set of gaudy speakers, baby. Take out your back seat. Where we're going, we don't need back seats. Back seats are for babies. You ain't a baby, are you? Goo goo gaga. Why did I think that'd be cool to put in the video? And you can do this for the low price of $0. I gotta be careful because I'm getting loud and I live in a college dorm, so I can't get super loud. Now, you got all that new room in the back. What you could do is you can get a rear seat delete kit, which will roughly put you down $300. You don't have to, but it basically turns the whole bumpiness of where the back seat used to be into a flat surface, which, granted, is way easier to build your speaker box on. Speaker time. So for the bare minimum kit, you probably need a couple bass speakers. You pair them up with your current speakers that naturally have a higher treble or mid or whatever. I don't know too much about speakers. If you can figure out how to make your own speaker box, it'd save you a lot of money. But if you buy the parts and you buy some wood and all the stuff you need to take it to a shop, I'd say they could probably put it together for roughly $400. Something like that. You'd also need to pay for the equalizer and all that kind of jazz, but I can't figure out speakers that much, so I think $400 is a good place to go. Last but not least, you need some good old-fashioned racing seats. Now, a lot of companies don't make a lot of aftermarket orange seats because it's just not a usual color. Not a lot of people choose orange for their car. Now, I'd say the best bet would just be to reupholster the old seats for around $600. That or find some seat covers. It's honestly up to you. Alright, so that's it for the interior. All that together brings us up roughly to a cost of $1,380, which actually is a pretty good price. Now, before we put all that cost together, here's something for you big Synkro fanboys. We're gonna build Nolo's engine. Now, if you look at the Meet the Car section, it says Nolo's engine has a twin turbo rotary engine that makes roughly 500 horsepower. Luckily, an engine like this already exists. It was actually found stock in certain cars, and if you're lucky, you might be able to find her from a junkyard. I'm talking about the Mazda RX-7, a twin-turbo rotary engine that pushes roughly 255 horsepower. The engine itself will cost roughly $4,000 off of eBay. However, this price is definitely subject to change if you pull it yourself in a junkyard, which I wouldn't recommend unless you have the correct tools and the proper knowledge for it. And the manual transmission, for some reason, will be in the hundreds on eBay. Now, obviously you'll need to do some tuning, but I'm sure you'd be able to coax out another 150 horsepower from that stock engine block with a few $1,000s. And finally, you're gonna need some nitrous. What's the point of having a car from ACCELERACERS if you can't click the big red button and get that? You wanna do wheelies, which I can't guarantee you'll get wheelies from this, but you're more likely to if you have nitrous. I picked out a pretty decent nitrous kit on Amazon, so go check that out. This engine build will be roughly $8,000, including if you start from scratch with the whole block. This cost will go way down if you figure out how to do this stuff yourself. So we figured out the total for the body and car is roughly $15,270. If you want to upgrade the interior to look the part as well, you're going to be looking at $16,650. And if you want to build the ultimate Synkro build that Daddy Nolo,
Please never say that again.
would be proud of, it's going to cost you roughly $24,650, which is a lot, but it's definitely feasible. And that's about all I got. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It gave me an opportunity to flex some like creative muscle or something like that. I decided it'd be cool to help you guys maybe build your own dream cars if you want to. I know this doesn't look exactly like it, but I think this is the closest you can get while staying in a low budget. If you guys want me to make this a series, I already have ideas for like 6 other cars. They're all part of that survey that I put earlier in the week. So if you guys want me to keep going with this series, then by all means, let me know. I'm still a relatively small YouTube channel with around 1,300 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate if you guys subscribe them. Fingers crossed I can reach 2,000 by the end of the year. If I reach 10,000 by the end of the year somehow, I'll let you guys do whatever you want to me. That sounded weird. I should not have said that. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great day. Please remember to check out the Amazon thing. Peace.